And ACP Dr. Phyllis Osei, Unaye Commander Council Unit, Ghana Police Service, Police Headquarters, and Wawuda. And to be ACP Dr. Phyllis Osei, happy birthday to you. You so boy Juma Papa, Yamamoni Juma so, Inspector Anna, Seven Countries or Chapa, Manka Sansumichana. In the 70s, now Inspector Anna, Papa, and Anna, a year, Chief Shaman, I know what she. Etina hu siesie no bia na mesoma ni nei nti Inspector Anan me your papa wate aha nti na eno no na arando penso no eye berema amoako drako ampem non ono ana na eche bi jase hene na nakwa akura busumi ebewura mu ya mu ana ebepe ne korabere oche bi nti me ba papa nti na yire anopai me mamde abushani nyina ya akoma mu nyina hyeden pa sanso ana chedibe abontendom hene me wura no pai me chiawo ene oche hene amwati ofori pani no pai osagefo onso no pai me chia papa na ochina ye nyina ye ekọ akwatia ye nyina ekọ akwatia na ni se ye nyina ye ma me baako 16 san ye frɛ no ye kan MPP ama yukuda wo mo ema MPP gina ye ewa akwatia no wono dimu akote ne papa eye oba pani Agnes Opon ata abrefi edi de frɛ ni 1616 ye pene korabre ekugya ne kwan kora ochina e wakati enti mona mifo nyina ye kɔ mesumi ko bi pa enye asem kuma kora fe mama nkrofo bi nchia wona fe ye nko jede na moako mensa wanye fie enkono Uku School, Jesus and Mary School, all my 7. And now I would happy birthday if in an ama or workers me media. What no pay or say, Wama happy birthday no sanso, and ne Mr. Medican Akadada, no catadiano, maka dada, na baconso waha, and a no katamaka, and Mr. Macan wevi, na fee, Mamisha we say, meet me the way I can tell one near sorry. Okay, maka anope maka nti eno so ye beto atwene na ya ko last one bi eni hodia na ena no pay ye bebo impu ena me ne Dennis Mirakraboaje Dennis eye MPP amayokunu ntini baako okọ mampani ahye ya wo ye responsible for local government or a presidential staffer responsible for local government wono ena no pay menene ebo impu na yadi insaba ku menumi ensabi then sakwa aba
eya ana minka say eja de mancha na
na me wulumo
me so me de Nufi Rollins ho
Papa J
Papa J me inspiration no say Papa J na me hu say fugu no
you me the shirt
so shirt na no wa shirt
on the weather
me to Papa J legacy no so
sa na ye pa sa na ye ewie mampani aso e boko
nyame adom
de radiasi
Diaspora ade china se wote nkwamu nko na nyina hode wo ho a ebetimi akasa obi aho ye mampani so ho ye pa mampani Adekye Dr. Mahmoud Baumia ono so no ho ye pa.
That's great, happy to hear. Now and some of the release be about presidential staffers. So also a staff ani bi. Nti mododo esen.
Presidential staffers wo omampania so aye 44.
Aye presidential staffers.
Presidential staffers wo omampania so aye 44.
Okay.
Na eya de tell say wo hwe yemre mu a. Ye wo emre bi efe no Presidential Staff Act 1993. I think say some run cry Act 463. And no ene hihye omampani aso aye ene ekwan a ye fa so a obia omampani bia obedi omampani a ode fa empanifo a eboa wo na onyo mu ye adwuma. Enti omampani bia wo ba wasudie ba ko ne se obekyekyere edwumayefo beboa wo na woni so ade hunu a wo no wetumi ade abo man no then no wonye no kwa anase wonye won framem ye wo embra ye fe no Presidential Staff Act and no I think 1993 na by Act 463 na waka embra na say section 2 no section 3 no say the presidential office shall be made up of persons appointed as presidential staff under this act one of whom shall be appointed as the head of the office, and B, such other public officers as may be seconded or transferred to the office. Then it goes on to give the details. Then it even goes on to say, the number of persons that may be appointed under subsection 1 and the grade of these officers shall be determined by the president.
Okay.
Nti o mampeni no wo no una wo ho kwan say we hwe mpenimfo a woni so ade hu awo. Ene mpenimfo a opeso mo bo no mo yeden. Omo chekere omane na normally no emra we are the same act no.
Okay.
Esan hihye ekwan a aban no befa so a report nti oko section 11 I say the president shall within 3 months after the end of each year submit to parliament an annual report containing the following information. The number of presidential staff employed at the office, the rank or grade of such staff, and then employees in the other public services assigned to the office.
Okay.
And see, the convention has been that between January and March, no, aban bi also no, aban ne betro no da koma speaker. Edwumayefo amene omo omampeni aso yenie. Na ya na into about 4 categories. You were ministers of state at the presidency. Into you be report on them. Now we report on presidential staffers. We are now the other category near other political appointees. Don't forget say Emrana Mekan can say obe appointed presidential staffers. We are now we determine the grade and the rank. See, there's a third category who are the other political appointees. Now for the final category, no, public sector workers. And see, that is how the reporting is done. The issue now, they say a G2 say, and they offer the presidential report now, staffing report now, on my Penida Common Speaker now, almost about 68%, between 65 and 70%, men can say, public sector workers. Omono, send them brand car, and your mampeni ne form of you. Omono, or mampeni aso all the time. Me national service, castle. Or mampeni kufwa breast, so me national service, office of the president. Now the point is that your own crophobia, mpeniphobia, me ko jubilee house, and maybe me who me kaya omo from, or mampeni kufwa breast. Omono mampeni kufwa ye juma. Omono Professor Mills aye juma. Omono mampeni joma hama ye juma. Eno omono na dan kufwa don so ye juma. Omono wo omampeni na aban na waban wonni omusutu
se enye wo na ado on ba ye eno ye adwumaku omu no ena e de omu ko
nto omo ye civil service na public service any security services nti we have maybe to say directors chief directors secretaries records officers accountants in so if you control an accountant general department internal audits ye wa parks and gardens for omo do friend is saying glass initiative there was seamstress when you know as a waba security services and also fire service for kahon police for kahon national security for kahon ambulance service Ghana health service for kra ewo nurse for ewo ho also Jubilee house you were office of the president you were clinic bi o bonting ya kon so omu nyina sa staff yi nyina edi ekasa report ya o mampeni eden e de ekono nti ese yeti asesa na yeyi saafo no yeden isi nchen because saafo no untumi nyom hwe
dabi sane e omadwuma na de o makọ
exactly and a public service no so mo be a friend staffing norms ni che say adwuma bia no ana adwuma department bia no ye wo entotoye che nipa dodo ese so mo adwuma ho sana service no o mo ahihye o mo nyoma nti te say production ye ona ye host but prince ye adwuma wo cameraman obi wo echi ho session niama untumi nka say ye we mfrim ana ye me we mfrim sa na fada ahihye no say sa mpenifo na betuma ye adwuma say na be ya production no e be dimu sa na civil servant ana public sector workers ne de na akwakoye den akwakoye de o mampeni e wo so control na ye political appointees no political appointees no ya chemu miensa ministers of state presidential staffers and then the other political appointees. Mistake here ne say. It is a bank. Obi a ye dwuma wo bank bi anye banker. Anamboa. Say me maybe am a security man or UBA. And Zenith Bank and GCB and ADB. ɛno just me banker but to do say enka no obi edwuma bank bi obefi ese wo bank manager no so I just say into obi e ba ese o banker there be enye obi edwuma bank na e banker into enye obi o ye edwuma e wo office of the president and or part of the presidential staffers category na ye ka ho asem mbre bia no into better no na we say na your presidential staffers 1000
and then can baby so say we share most of the newspapers are not pay ya or say you were about 100,000 over 1,000 staffers at the presidency
and that's why I'm happy say baby to say we FDS we show you see na Ghana for nyina baba nyanti ase because you see the thing about public discourse and say it's not enough to throw out propaganda and throw out headlines timemufo no anase omanfo no ye wasudie we so say ye be mo matene o manase no we hu no kre no ohun no kre ni wi ade de be ye bia na de no anasem ana meboa enti enne e wo show we so no the correction we are making and say the 4 categories of staffers are what presidency no and you omunyina na presidential staffers o share report here me create this is a summary for report called presidency 2021 this is a summary for 2016 me were 2014 2017 me were up to 2010 2009 2012 each of these reports were 4 categories no now in 2022 yeah woman the number of presidential staffers at what presidency 44 1,000
okay
44 and 1,000
staffers and
presidential staffers 44
and as a minister of
state no 2
okay
ministers of state 2
46
and other political appointees no 315
okay me ba 315 461 until now 361
great until now let me explain baby I may explanation pano other political appointees go minister of state in the say ntia say nyeden presidential service no 44 pe obampani assign different roles mo say me say be presidential staffer obampani say me fa manindi local government and decentralization in semechi enti we call local governance act ni mu a embra na echeche local government na ye wo bibi efe no interministerial coordinating committee on decentralization section 204 of the local governance act no embra say there shall be a secretariat that would provide technical and coordinating support to the interministerial coordinating committee on decentralization such secretariat no would be at the office of the president and your man penny ekufado na becheche me post amame e won branim enti in fact before ye beba abai mu no na penny be a friend of Dr. Callistus Mahama one of the finest brains in local government issues in Ghana. I think now he works at the office of the former President John Mahama. Finest, he was a local government service head near there. Fine brain. No, he executive secretary. Ewo interministerial coordinating committee. Eti enyo mampeni na na den koku for daba beti. Eye institution na ewo ho. But it is under office of the president.
Okay.
It's even though a institution a one eduma embra chichira man no. Mampeni say into a mampeni will first of all appoint a staff. E won the office wo we are not the same man na den. Ashenensa. So na meka wati ase. Into no 44. Now other political appointees no. Say oko National Entrepreneurship and Innovation Program NEIP. It's under office of the president. Ghana Scholarship Secretariat. It's under office of the president. Maslock under office of the president. National Identification Authority under office of the president. The NBM Zongo Development Authority and the FN Secretary under office of the president. Now all these institutions under office of the president. It's their appointment will be part of the office of the president staffing arrangement.
Okay.
Say na make out here say. Enti normally when say nkofo ke come say hey, ye hwe mu no deputy communication director say nko a wo presidency. Omo ye be 8, omo ye be 9. No kra ni say so mampeni the report no e kwa parliament say ya. O de safo ni nyina edin ebeka ono ne list ho. Esa ne say emra ne say sa institutions no e under office of the president. But enye omo ne o mampeni ne ye adwuma. Ye form a no makosa institutions ni makoye den. Akoye adwuma. Eti ebi are the head of NEIP, the head of National Identification Authority, the head of Scholarship Secretariat, the head of Maslock. Omo nyina appointments no, any omo positions no, will come from the office of the president. It is a company president list now, or the spokesperson and I say PR communications officer. No. He will be part of the list of communication directors now who and that is how these other political appointees come about. Special assistants for regional ministers. Because say Abanwe is the only government since 1992. You need deputy regional ministers. What it means is that these regional ministers, they need help, they need support, and easy. Some of us hold the view, say the president is really squeezing the government in removing a deputy regional minister. Because remember, region, Eastern region, there's a ceremonial role that the regional ministers play. I told the Bia, Omanye Jumebi, Afashebi wo Ekiapem Traditional Council, Bakon Ewo Krobo, and a Baku Kwewu. Each of these traditional leaders, they want to see the presence of their political authority in the region. Nipa Bakope. Until previously, what was happening is that say 4, 5, 6 regional minister Kobe Mienu, na deputy so ayeden akomienu. Ene regional minister no otwamuba Ekiapem. No abesin akọ Kwewu Afram Plains. No abesin akọ your friend is saying Achem Kotoku side. So the special assistants for these regional ministers, they are part of this other political appointees here. The list is here.
I don't know about Kwana say me no
no, sir. Of course, regional
okay.
And as some of the ministers and so, almost special assistants, almost technical assistants, and technical directors, and so
and so technical assistants and technical directors, no order.
Oh yes, you know, you see, I say in as and say, so we run ministry. You were the technical staff, but minister no, or the policy direction, eba. Until I told the be a minister in here, boafobia. Ono na dwen da eso na okoda ya odwen ye na anopa de aba no boafo bi ono so behwe na wahwe say okay ne nimdiye sronku bi ono so wo no ya minister ne kare be fa yentini ne si na fe ono technical for ni aka boma ye den aye enti saafo ni nyina no omo ka sa ye fe ne say list yi ho there are several of them bebre all over the place now the challenge is not even with sa figures here it is about how sometimes in our haste to push political propaganda and press the buttons of the citizens. You're done in seminal, now you're twisting seminal. Or Mampena na dan Kufado, I recognize the times and the challenges that we are in. And unti, and now compare the number of presidential staffers or Mampena na dan Kufado war under his government. Less than the number of presidential staffers we had in the previous government. Okay. And the reason is because he recognizes we are in difficult times. I have the data here. In the as of 2016, that the number of presidential staffers under the NDC government was 61. And in 2021, it was 44. In 2022, it is still 44. The number of ministers of state as of 2016, now 1, 2, the bakwa yeden aba beka ho. But so we call public sector workers, now here come one semina. In 2021 data, there were about 650, I think 658. In 2022, the public sector workers are 687. When we say public sector workers are increasing by close to about 30, thereabout. But no, I am mamping now for about a year. The civil service and the public service and the public institutions now almost more responsibilities at the presidency. And the point is, Southway, they are already working in the public sector space. And whether you move them for the presidency or not, they are already on public sector wages. Unless you say, oh, see a person nipa 1040 nipa fema. It is not about 44 presidential staffers. It is about the 687 public sector workers. And I don't think anybody in Ghana today is advocating say yampamo abayeduma for the because they play a very critical role. A very, very critical role. See, in 2000 and I think in 2016. In 2016, the public sector employees, no we are 712, 712, 712 under John Mahama, 712. In fact, under John Mahama in 2016, ministers of state 1, yet 2. Presidential staffers or 61, you're 44. Other political appointees were 118, yet 292. Public sector workers, 712, yet 687. And it's there because every government and in the news and do a person, and that's why you realize be your mampeni John Mahama the presidential staffers 61 no we do mo ye den omo ye no ye feel say 44 betumi ye den aye say adwuma no ene na dan Akufo-Addo zongo development aba but under President John Mahama he didn't have zongo development. What it means is that he wouldn't have needed the number of people who are working under zongo development and delivering the sort of social infrastructure yedema ye zongo brothers no. In fact this be a kaso yenji sa zongo development in from zongo for they don't need that kind of special focus and attention. Fair enough, then all those stuff will leave because you see okay you know abema Charles Bisiu who was the presidential staffer and then he was coordinating the interministerial coordinating on mining. Today he's no longer a presidential staffer because it is the mining interministerial coordinating issue no is not as focal as it was 3 or 4 years ago. Inti esesa beba or mampeni next year ebia or wenya another special area be a person pay attention. He will need support for that and here and there. It is very important that we acknowledge say in 2000 is it 2009 2010 who's a Ghana near we find brand Ghana. In fact when you go to the presidency there was a secretariat called Brand Ghana that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama was directly responsible for. So Brand Ghana, no? If you pick the list I have here, the 2009 list, you'd realize that in that list you have titles like Brand Executive, NIPA 5, Corporate Relations Executive, NIPA 2, Yawa Valuer, or your political appointee. So many of them, different titles. And then what you say be I say diaspora relations because now why it is because the president of the day has made it a point to say I am going to entice our brothers and sisters in the diaspora with a special focus to ensure that they will get back into this country and come and support the development of the country and we can see the results. And then Ghana Christmas it is the toast of the whole world. Kamala Harris bar your friend is saying did you want Kamala Harris, Eba Ghana and say, you heard when she was speaking, you heard her made reference to the year of return and beyond the return. And the amount of investment Eba into the country within December only, simply because of the work that the diaspora office and the office of the president is doing. Another president may come, just as President Mahama had Brand Ghana, into another brand executives staff under Brand Ghana. We don't have, because that is not our focus, but diaspora is our focus. And for me, these are the things we need to pay attention to. In ensuring, as we say, Omampeni would sort of be sensitive to the times we find ourselves in. Every political appointee, 30% of your compensation has been taken off. 30% of your compensation has been taken off simply because Omampeni acknowledges say, I need you to come and help me work, but we are in difficult times. And let's make some sacrifices. And that is something that yen to me embu yeningu so ne yankase bia bibia sanye den anyhow. Okay. And see, that's the situation around the
me share me ma kwasara be anchiche mo be na mafo beti ase eye nsunti. Na ye hwe sa year of return na sefo yi a omudwumedi ahodo omudie no so no wo momra eye so mbaba bebre. But ebi no so ka say si ye ka so momra amaye den omo beba edom nim dia beboa oman atumi akone but ana ya dwene so afiri esu ne ban bia ebi no de ba ebe promote ni amabako yonum yesa bi for instance say LGBTQ wo samsami ho na wo pa bi mfasa ma no ne wo na yepese de ba nkofo be say ba Ghana ha na fe sa amanfo kutu gun violence na sifue no say yesa sa your friends nyina amra nkofo mra ya de adwena kwaso se da bi ba na yese amomra no mo ba no positively ama manya so mfaso esen say mode niema hodo bi be wurawura mu nurubone ho nsam ne niema niema bi be wurum ya de adwena kwa no so kakra.
I think say the objective for your return here very clear. You when you anum bia there's a history behind a quiet fast from Mukopi Amanone. Now, a lot of them are interested still on home echi. Now, Omotumi Okun baby or Masayeding if free. Omo Banonsono, Omo Bar, they come with so many ideas because Ejutum said they've been part of the development of these advanced economies. And see, they are very well equipped to come and support our economies to grow. A lot of them are invested in the country. Ebimu Tofie, ACFie, Waha, Ebimu ABA Numa Waha, Ebimu SAT school. Yes, Ebimu BA schools Waha, Ebimu SAT up movie studios near there. Ebimu are collaborating with some of the local investors to go into several ventures, and we cannot discount that. And see, I know there. And the issue of Ndubone, I don't think say year of return I didn't Ndubone eba.
Me just me kasa eno na de ba me say ye de adwena akọ say ebra ye pese ade papa eba no ade bonu so be de akira baby.
Oh yeah, ade bonu dey say
enti ye de adwena akọ say ye be make sure say na ema bi e be wiase no wo mo ba bebre no be negative impact our society so no also ye de adwena akọ say ye be hwe ne tumi etuso sase na be enkofa ha bi amre.
I think say enhyehyɛ ye wo my we mu a ye de so neoma bonu wo ha no san hyehyɛ na nso na ye de beto akoyemu to ensure say in inviting our brothers to come into the country, no? Because the same laws, yentumi yem rafufro, emfa ma omo because they are brothers, they are kinsmen.
But so the name be banner say nya de ne yeso yenhyehyɛ hia.
Say me no ye tukwa ne ye banner say the name be banner say ye ne ye adwin hia say ye kra ye be kye yen. Sa no mo so mo ba nti the same mra na.
Okay, me da say.
Mra so nko bi eni ho emo mo.
Dennis yenko ade ba ko a ye ka ho asem. You say a debt accumulation, sika, busia, we are J, na we are say, na we de say, na we de free, and a copy of come and come up with free and could see and sembibre. Na homo ka buying that dano, can say, as will be fear bemono. Na a kaya dear, 122 billion Ghana cedis. Say, would call almost 600 billion Ghana cedis. They said, Damodia Kahono, a doss ye papa. Sasa wono ati say
yeah me that say when it comes to issues of debt accumulation I think say it's very clear obi and to me and some figures and no when the NDC came to power in 2009 na ye kan nyina $9 billion $9 billion
Ghana cedis. Yes,
into omo mu fi aban mu no na omo movie ye kan from 9 billion to 122 billion and around over 500 billion. Now the issue here is that your debt, no, about 30 to 40% of the current debt exchange rate differential, and your boss here exchange rate differential forms about 30 to 40% of our debt. It's very important that we acknowledge that. What it means is that your current debt situation, no, a lot also has to do with even previous debts. A lot has to do with previous debt that has been accumulated. Example, then say ukobo besia ebi $1,000 in 2011. Sabo say $1,000 no. Ebi as time no na dollar to CD no na 1 CD. Enti na 1,000 Ghana cedis. And then dollar to CD no ebi 12 cedis. Enti 1,000 cedis no is now 1,200. About 12,000 cedis. So the 1,000 cedis is now 12,000 Ghana cedis. And see, that's between 30 to 40% of your debt, your 500 billion. And your bosia, ebi ebeka say, on mampena na danko ekufado, ekoye, and okoji is keba on mining. But your exchange rate issues, challenges, also form part of the rapid rise in our debt portfolio. And it's very important we also put that one on record. Now, busie bia ban we abobia. Busie bia ye bobia ko through parliament. And now busie bia obebo my way mu no. Eja wo botaya ana edwumakura obo besia ne se wo de be den. Wo de be ye. The question is why in a betumi ama ne nsa so akire a particular busie bia aban yi ko boy ya edwuma o kai se wo de be ye no wan fan ye. And I explain to you. Ye ba ye be fa akonya we no. Ye hu ye say as a country we are not growing. Ye mbuta ni ye bibia kwakoye brick and mortar. Embre bia no ye ka development of this country a ye school dan dodo a yesi, ye akwan dodo a ye hospitals dodo a yesi. We are unable to really tell the progress we are making really in the development of the human capital of the people. And we haven't even bothered to even find out why 135,000 of Yankola as at 2017 no, every year be a cat in because omu to be in school. Your mommy and into the name to me school. School dino and no so. And see your far name why the becan your job at in see the cut-off points be aba. And see young as I create artificial cut-off points. Akolano school be or her when you're 17 own to me. And see young idea about. Then the second issue was that in here for no and now almost a bit almost said any bibi no no in colony school mu kwan kra no on to be in ska and for colony yeden in school. As at 2016 na in collect boarding school walk off fresh no ne kan nyina okay kabo man am close to 6,000 Ghana cedis. So what you say, and very few people, a lot of people could not afford. In fact, the statistics show over 135,000 remained at home. And you can imagine the stress and the pain they go through. Me call secondary school na mama a teacher. Minimum struggle yan so to me call through secondary school. Into man penny na danko go for Dubai. His vision is to restructure some of these things and ensure say in spite of all the things that you bear on the other side, which is providing the infrastructure, no, we are building the human capital of the country. What it means is that you see school are dying. You say in Kolana or my parents into me NGS came to a year side any free. Now collect be or gonna have to me go school. One co school, not just unknown the parents, and they decided someone go school. But I'm to say a boy and I see can't to me a day in school. This issue it went all the way even to the tertiary level because as of 2017 I buy you know. Now in Kolakwa training colleges, teacher and nursing training colleges are almost be a nunti, almost allowance survive no. Now so near Jeffrey museum. So this government decided say yesika yejeno. Etoa yetua no sika yenya no ye de be bo Ghana fo ho ka na de make sure say de be pia Ghana fo na ehia fo na sika fo manyina etumi nya the same level na no de se wo wan kode a na ye wa wasem. So it meant that for us to be able to deliver the other aspects which will be the infrastructure aspect no we need to borrow because one borrow there na say kakra obejeje na de be. And now the Ebejina, you school dining, your friend say, Aquino, you see, Debbie, you have found school die because you school dining upon a scanner, you have a Ghana for Honka. No mum, Yako Bobesia, near the Bay Aquino. Get fund. Or Mampenin and Adanko Kufado Bobesia, I think almost about over $1 billion. Edema get fund. Say, and fund deliver infrastructure in the second school.
But my almost some fire.
School
die, and I say, yeah, the Binum Taka say, yeah, the get fund for one could see our
Debbie. But that's what it means. Send this out Bob here, I would bet you. So I just say, say get fund, and what we do is that UJJ and Tobuana,
sure,
your percentage be.
Baskana,
it's Yakobo Bessia, 1 billion. That's what we did.
1.5
Yakobo Bessia over 1 billion, 1.5 billion thereabout dollars. Scan by into Tuamoka, a Kayabosiano. It is our $1.5 billion. No, and your GN, your DC school are dying to deliver and ensure say Ghana ni bia kwala bia betumi akọ school. And then there is no secondary school in Ghana ukumwa. Yeni either say classroom block, and a dormitory block, an assembly hall, and a dining hall, and a library as a result of Sabosiano. And the reason is that in Kolana na as a 2016-2015, omoda empaso ewa Ghana ha 222 in dormitories no ye free ho. The reason is that in Kolana omotina classroom 70, 80, and no cry ebimu katine fie no ye free ho. And that is why
totally what kind of sound
of course.
Okay.
And that is why Obekaya you started free city high school. What happened was that immediately we opened the floodgates say Obianko school free no in Kolana be dawson nti ema pressure crowd the infrastructure no be more. What it means is that and afi Obiaba person ko school as school down in Lawson friend say dormitory blocks in Lawson nti we introduced what we call a double track system to quickly use Bosiane Ekobo to intervene and provide that support for the secondary schools in the infrastructure. And that is why today a lot of the schools are getting off double track system in this country. To ensure say in the next 1 or 2 years, almost every secondary school will be able to accommodate so much children without us having a lot of our children remaining on the street. Bosiane Ekobo and the reason why we had to do that is because a tuona yetua na nka ebetumi age na ye de di sa school dan djuma no ye de sa tuo no etua Ghana fo ho ka no mako school free
The free na ye kano ene ne de wahin esase ye ka say kwala ne textbooks ene learning materials bi wo ho a dodo na wo for ne toye na sen dia omu bi so ankoda ko yi parents no etoto ne ma bibre bo ka bibre se de be ya enkwada no bitumi nya ne ma bakumi no bi se formally no na ne ma bi wo ho a schools no provide e de man kwada no but say no e ka me say for instance the nansen ya ankoda ko textbooks bi wo ho a kwada ne kututo ni nyina se medical ya ka no afei edu ba bi nso a wo ka bibi aba infrastructure sere be ya schools no nyama betumi akoyie enti no awofo kwa at least wo twa bi kakra de school sere be ya school no betumi aye de so mo ye awofo nso nyama bo nso aye de enti ye ka ne free a the free no say free kura ana say part of it and free and na parents nso no take part of the responsibility
nyina echi no as at the time free senior high school ba eba no na awufu bia apart from books here okay ya omoto yi apart from textbooks on beto exercise books are no moto no science akutua school fees be 2,500 ni nyina echi no until the point is that in spite of school books are ena beto in spite of whatever contribution a oye a support akola no school fees no and other textbooks no won't and that is very important.
Next, I buy for half the appearance.
I buy no. Mean to be calculated. You say half or say 70%. I buy na for but the truth is that Oba sorry no pass or school. Oba tompa boama no. Oba touch box. Oba touch daddy ama no. Omo yak first when the langa mboa. No what mattress ni ade. Oba ye ni nyina da wi a. What's answer ko pay 3,000 2,500. So do ko school fees. And now I buy say me year free amount. Into Oba na kwa koto singlet. Na pair boxer shorts. Na to ne books are aka buying for no toka ho now from school. I think it is the single most important and audacious policy any government would introduce in this country, and that is why all governments across the world has been hailing this particular policy. You know what it does? Their free senior high school say ema ohieni ba eni sikeni ba ye nyina etumi nya faako dan ba kwetinem e de hwe say ya bra abodache no enye based on wo advantage a wunya because e bia papa wiska. That is the single most important and audacious policy that any government would do. Because you see, they be America. Say I'm first sikano and you free senior high school. Now say the sikana yenya from cocoa ni gold ni ade no. You can say taxes yenya no. You de koye kwan. Na kwan no you de koye kwan bi ewo Western region. Me am tell latte no. Say wo koye kwan Western region.
Now they won't kasa latte kwan.
Me say me kwan yeye. Wo de koye Western region. Me am tell latte no. Me in faso ben na aban no menya wo so se wo diska ekoye airport e wo Kotoka international airport me am tell ata me ntu kwan ko Togoda ntu kwan go Benida no me oman sika na wo fa wo de ye na nti wo e bia wo ya aban a wo de be ka asem no me menya so faso na so se e dan ya so abo ho where say home return
the brother say wo samre fie mo samre fie na me bisa question say omo ba bia na bia balate say akonode say wa confo
fie obi anti abrochire
so enso edan a omo ba bibi kakra be kan wo kai
because e bia mbe na me fa so be na me aye da bi enyo obi ya na enti me point ni say free senior
ye nya ye ne fa nyina che school mu ana
ya me kan say wo ye no free senior high school no and they provided the only opportunity to ensure say Ghana ni bia o Ghana fa na ebe bia no etumi nya aban no so mfaso kakra enti say ye me krom kwan kra ene latte udu latte jansi to latte ye kwan da so da ho me gusu di echiri anopa na enwumre na nse kra mentumi nkofie me kwa na ye hwemenim saa me bompa ye say enche bia ebe akwaye me kwan ama me enti until say ye be ye me krom kwan no me kromfo emba e secondary school free enti ono no otumi ka say oman no timu no anya hwe krampo no onya oman no so faso through that social intervention policy
so the body me aku free
yes anase no wofase anase ni nua ba because anya free senior high school anka me e bia me wofase for ne me cousins bi be ko school ye be frɛ me ye be frɛ say wofase bi be ko school face cabra but ene no e bia sa headache no e free ho your pocket money bi kaka na be den obepama no so it is very important say we continuously push such agenda because I know they provided support for every Ghanaian living everywhere. Then we continue to develop the other aspects. No, it doesn't reach all of us at the same time. The point I'm making is that every single loan we have taken.
I do my say okay.
Na sa niyama no, and I make me feel says obi ebeka ye bosia ya bo ho asem obi bisa say ye bo besia no eye den
okay
bosia no de ye bo ye no
ye for free senior high school ho asem free senior high school ho asem ya ye hwe sika ye twa ne sika ye de ewura mu na wugidi se ye sika ye twa no sika no dodo no ano ebisa dodo no ano akwakọ wura ho a ebema na ye se ho na adie sika pa wo de toto other sectors are ye ebisa ko wura ya na.
It's just one example. It's just one example. For example, say other interventions. One district, one factory. We've sunk close to over $1 billion into it. So what you say? Close to $1 billion.
I don't know the resource on any day. The needed revenue, the needed exports. Ebe manye be nya gba no nisika. Say ebe tuama yedi nyame de bia kwama no ne nya ma no nisika na ekushi yen dollar ni cedis temu maso. It
takes a while. For example, say ne oba mikroma ene ye wo shoe fabric omo ye shoe. So what you say? It is say ebi omo produce 1,000 pairs of shoes a reduce the number of shoes ye import about mine no to ensure say ye import no would go down a bit. Ebi a nyandru baby e export shoe no. But see to minya sa factory no eso mako be 20 na at least shoe a ye hye wa ha no omo to be providing eno nko a ebe yi import na den every ho. Ene okọ your friend is saying almost about over 100 districts over 100 districts. I've forgotten the exact figure. There are factories there producing several things. Ecofi juice. Say ne anya crampo no. If Ecofi juice is selling even 1,000 cartons of omo juice, no, even in a month, it has reduced the number of cartons of foreign imported your friend is saying drinks are you're consuming. No? So I just say in the country. So if we should have more of Ecofi juice, more patronage of Ecofi juice, then we can get to the point where we say we are reducing. It's either you are reducing the import or you are exporting. Two ways. Either ways, it's beneficial. If you are reducing the import, it's supporting us. And see, the issue is not about how many we have exported. It is about the fact that we can see there's a substitute for what it is that we import. And that definitely has an impact on the economy in the long term.
And I said you made an symptom. And so I shall ya brand no very pa. But may you call kasi baby sabi be to me call other ya pese hwe ba ko bi. Se infrastructure and some no. Se be ya nanka be sama be mienu miensa bi. Na ye hwe infrastructure. More can say infrastructure delivery there. MPP is superior than any other government under this Fourth Republic. That's a moka na ni na sorry there we here.
I think so we have constantly tried to give details of our infrastructure delivery and to let people understand say when it comes to infrastructure initially I remember say NDC4 going into the 2016 elections they were touting infrastructure but that is entirely not correct and maybe we can pick a bit to me afabi we share roads are and these are things that you cannot run away from. The Ministry of Roads and Highways data na made to abunti you or say the total network size as of 2017 there is 78,402 and as of 2022 equal 94,000 and the reason that is happening is simple. When we say every time biano new neighborhoods new communities beba and see once obi ko sit down about a kilometer away in the bush no onye twa kwan kope na say abeka ye total network road network no. Now in the road infrastructure space MPP there is no way NDC comes close to us when it comes to the total number of roads we have paved, the total number of roads we have maintained, and the total number of new roads we have created. Difference we more. Maintenance na ya potholes. To send you bia Abeka Junction enim ha, mo say to bia no mo siesie ho. Ene ye wo asphalt no. De ye mo dugu kwan no so no. And say ye wo new roads ene bia to say memi krom tinkon amount from road. Na remu kwan and abanya den ababeye. We have constantly run over those figures. We have always given, and I have the report here. In fact, another Danko for the call. Your friend is saying a call Parliament and say he put it out there. Asphalt overlay 1,800 kilometers. Yaya bridges in Makumako 33. Yaya graveling and red graveling. Red graveling here to say bia. Once a be a quantity to say woody the way anymore. But any asphalt, near saying trust, we say I say a munkam near guso. no kwa 6,000 kilometers. Interchange mako 5. Partial reconstruction 163 kilometers. Reconstruction a kwan no order that but say you training in an asa in the foforo 186 kilometers. Rehabilitation yet training kakra 1,187 kilometers. Resealing 101 kilometers. Upgrading and surfacing 1,818 in all. No, 11,974 kilometers of road works in a year. Breakdown in our ha. Uko region by region. I have all of it. If you have time, I have for the total number of kilometers of roads. I have 373. Ashanti region 1,877 kilometers of road. Bono region 447 kilometers of road. Bono East 545. Eastern region 1,109. Central 837. Greater Accra 1,667. Northeast 444 kilometers. Northern region 1,263 kilometers. Oti region 455 kilometers. Savannah 433 kilometers. Upper East 624 kilometers. Upper West 394 kilometers. Volta 467 kilometers. Western 692 kilometers. And a Western North 340 kilometers. So in all 11,974 kilometers in a year. Breakdown for each region. Baby a quite one community a womb.
Okay. Can be a interchange bakumaku enum. Woman so na war horse had no so say sign interchange amoka once mu say monama no. Idea na shishan wo hoda na sika no kra foto no kra no. Yaje ato be bi say obeche bi die bi ti say pokwasi die ebi sitamadie ni nyina no na ya nhyehyɛ wo hodada a sika no kra agye to ansa na momo ba enti sɛ mo kase bia mo abaya na siw sɛ mo na mo hya ase na mo na mo wie ɛhɔ no so
senior the point is that you will be a friend draw down oh you bosia 500 billion na okay no sɛ o calculate na sɛ wo be yi poku ase kana e ka ye de no na de akwa mo de no na mo de na fi 122 billion na kwa nenim de ase mini problem ono ne 122 billion na ye ka omo ka se o ye de bedu 122 billion na omo de akwa 500 billion no poku ase ka no enka ne 122 billion no e ka ye de no obi che bi lamte kwan no e ka no e ka ye de ho Kumasi airport ka no e ka ye de no Sunyani airport ka no e ka ye de no Tamale airport ka no e ka ye de no enti me etinye bi wa mentwen sa wo pese ye de ma ode a ya fa ko ka wo ka ho. So what you can't count there now? I don't understand why. We say me na makobo besia. Na wo use. But we calculate this.
Wa fan count na besia no ho. Or the count wo besia.
Exactly. Ade na woje won samran.
Eti so ono
won samran.
Me bo ono wo aban mu. Ye fa sa me wa.
Se me panka metwam, me panka menje. Sem ka me pa. Se me pese ye be ye sa kwan na. Anka wo besia nka metwam.
Eti ye fa sa me be ko no. Me wa aban mu a me be ko na se wo wa aban mu abeko no. Na one negotiate enya besia bi abesa ne da ho etwen
besia ne da ho e da ho anka beka wo ka ho
beka me ka ho
okay enti something called draw down until say bosia ne be ba no unje bosia ye enti enka ho enti o mo kasa enye no kre
okay enti no sa ya ye interchange makomako enum no interchange enum no obi na pe busia ne de to ho anasa ye to busia no anamo na mo be fa ye to aso anasa mo anamo ba ne be hye busia ne gi ase
ya na ye ma me more example yeti ye see ye pese ye see ya kada o se wo ye be ye Afram Plains ye be ye bridge ato mo nsuo so de akọ ya ka ho asem se ye ntumi anye na ye fi aban mu 2032 na se obi foforo ba na se oka say oh makọ Netherlands makọ Djibouti na me dey Afram Plains enti eja me be ba be catch us say ye na ye hya ase 2023 say ye be Afram Plains bridge enti se mama ba in 2032 and ye it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. E come here say almost every single achievement bia na dan kwaku for do be bia no ma si ono no start here but bonene dey no start here wo say wo kai 122 billion where you pokwasi interchange came from but how na you pokwasi interchange na we you can call say we say you can it cannot be correct. It is not true.
Maybe so a question is utia was the government has signed a loan agreement with African Development ADB Bank to provide $83 million for the construction of Pokwasi interchange as government provides $11 million. That it started way November 16th, 2016. So time no namo my intina abano I didn't say Shankrata say afasa pokwa
so uko bank na uko apply uko fill loan forms na unji loan
enti say sika no mo ba no mo twa mo loan mu na mo de mo process
for buy. That is the point. Say uko na uko fill loan forms no. Say loan no beto account man na waji loan. Na dey aka waka ho. So that make out here. Na your plan na pese ye wo my we mu dey so be a manifesto wo mu. Niam bebre wo mu. Mentumi ye na say wo ba be ye 8 years time I was what I was say. It doesn't make sense. That is the point.
And make me say abani say one sign loan
agreement. Sign loan na what you loan?
And tina maybe say I want to sign loan no mo sign no. One mo de no mo ye no mo afa mo san kan. New process.
Anti me say be kai anti ona ye.
Dem maybe say.
Yep, of course. Loan now we start years a woje no. When we ye buy ni abeto ase ni adi loan no na be kai ka ho.
Okay.
Nanti me ba o eja kwaduna. Say o fill loan form na waji loan. So ko fill loan form or banker waji loan.
So you kind of say ebia o kind when ya be buy na beto aso
na.
Enti na maybe say clarification.
No, I'm trying to clarify. Eya wo na menisa.
Oh no, me.
Eya wo na menisa. But the point is that entasum
say
entasum say wo be ba be catch them say oh pokwa say interje ye na ye sha ase ye. Say ye jebosi ya. Enti mo ye kra na ye na ye. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't. I don't know why you. I don't want jebosi no one ye kwan.
Ebia time or dey or process for bisiano. Bisiano ntumi amedu.
Nti ye wo na o ye. Asa na tie na senka na na chire ye nyina ye be start say me ba enai ye nyina aban bia be start say all church loans by heart. Imagine 2032, imagine 2028. Say na buy aban bia obeba beyond that time bia ba me say me na me ye. It doesn't make sense. Wa bosiano beba beto account me be ka.
Wo na o ye adwuma.
Of course. Because you have a choice. You have a choice to have received the loan or not.
It is a loan no say process. Sebre no so ebe mature.
Mature ben.
Ebia emfa ne say me beje dey so to be in bank. We do bank wo twere ya na e dey am.
Say it is me ba. Me won kwan say me ba. Na say loan wo nyanje ya. Me won kwan say make say minje.
Yes, sure.
Enti me kwaji anya na oje because I could have decided not to take it.
That's a process.
Now manje
and I'm so be a starting process.
Yeah, me say me twem
and I'm say when twem.
Exactly.
Exactly. Be a starting process and no be better answer.
Enti one na o tin chen ya wo so na o ye no entaso because na nka me metumi twem.
And I'm going twem.
Yes.
And also
enti ye na o ye.
And na also na ye.
Of course. Because me na me je bosia no.
What di mu na de je bosia
so be one
signature na wo ho.
Me signature na wo ho. Yes, because
loan na e ba beje.
Yes.
When I apply
who apply loan. Say who apply loan na unyanya loan. Say we simple I don't understand is
it. Loan be dro no na me ni ho.
Debi enyata mal loan
no time be ba no na me ni ho.
Na
beto account.
Me ba na say loan mba ya metumi twem. Untumi yam hwe. Metumi twem. In fact there are several of them like that. Successive government. You come you realize that this project that ABA previous government has here no entasum betumi twem. Ba say me ba na se mentwem na me san ko di akire na me sensan ho krata na me ka say maba basila me yes our project nti mu first kanembra I have a choice to draw down on the loan or not.
Okay.
If I draw down on the loan, it is my project. Otherwise, unim we simple nkomo. Once I work out CNDC bo say 122. For 80 something nko come 122 no ho. Na nko 200 billion. O meti ase say dey be mo me.
Okay. Me yanko ye bre no time ko ye was just about 9 minutes. Na yeah sorry. Yehwe Ukraine ene COVID nsem ya ban kire se no na ye crisis a ama esi kasem nko yi kra na fi yemfa embata IMF deal ya mampani anase yehwe COVID nsem no ya kan wasama abepem 19 yemko IMF deal no ho mampani kan se February na ka etume du ba bi amaso March ni yehwe deadline yenya hyedanti asampa bi esansa wo hwe a kueku ahodo China foi ai se ekoko hu omu omutu hyedan ma green light bia so yaje atum Paris Club for so wo so eheda ma green light bia say yaje atum ye be ni say enti ama yen bre deadline about the end of the month no yetumi enu bank finance minister so kire say si yetumi anya say sikai by the close of this month ye enne day yanko na wi says kan ma ya o man economy no e be crash enti ya crash ana.
Yeah, I said here as a bank say there's a bia no ye age. And finance minister was in China as part of the negotiations and discussions around this IMF loan. And it went well. It was quite successful.
Successful as in
whatever negotiations are finance ministry and the Chinese government in here, and it went quite well. And see, it's all part of meeting the requirement for the IMF deal. And see, we are all very confident that the IMF deal will pass, and there's no doubt about that. Oh, and that's saying.
There be set Mampeni can say by the close of the month. Now Yachimi and the Enya IMF deal. No. Finance minister also say, see Yachimi Enya that deal no by the close of this month. The economy will crash.
The economy will not crash. If there are challenges, the challenges will always be fixed as always, as this government has been doing. Orani abaya and yet one straight line. Every scenario, and then she into two other better film. Into we na say we no any ECP ma. You would see the key thing is that in spite of all these challenges, and then we know kasi over 6,000 nurses in your clearance, they are applying for jobs. They are going to be recruited. As I speak to you. As I speak to you, there are people in military training. As I speak to you, we are still providing logistics for security services. As I speak to you, we are paying salaries of public sector workers. IRS. In fact, last year, in the middle of our crisis, my salary increment for public sector workers. Cost of living allowance, and the point is that in spite of all these challenges, the government has a responsibility to ensure say Ghana for nyina ho betomo. All these issues here, all the challenges that is obvious, it is all over the world. Okay, we say na COVID no Ghana nkwa na see na Ukraine Russia war no e jampi kro bia obi a ehune de. American President Bayo Kasai okay, you heard it saying say clearly the Ukraine Russian war and the COVID-19 no a shatter global supply chain system. And has affected every economy, including the US. Oko US, they are seeing a 40-year-old inflation. UK, same 40-year-old inflation. UK at some point almost shorty fuel. Oko Turkey inflation edu 80%. Vietnam, Brazil, and the reason why yen yet all the way Ghana, but a won't so be by so say. And yes, a bomb on the Ghana. Nemu amaya maya and yomudidra. I Ghana ye cry and yama fi hono. Omono bebre na Ukraine Russia for nedidwa. And I wouldn't say EU at the ban be ato Russia for so, especially when it comes to exports in Niama. Inti supply from Russia to young countries and yomudidwa no akofem. What it means is that those countries no production and so ebekofem into prices is where they ebekosho. So wo kokra konye yesi if you take it na dia bagana enka no $1,000. But by the time I beton Ghana baby I go back to Turkey no. Now almost 80% inflation until you are now buying it at $1,800. Obviously, what the boy money more send the boy back. And that is how we in Ghana, even though we are not close to Ukraine, Russia, we feel the brunt. Ya toya mondo do na fi Vietnam. Ya toya no mondo do fi Brazil. Ya cry a lot of our things from the US. And these countries are countries who deal directly with Russia. China, which is one of our major trade partners, Menoka say China, they still haven't opened up to the global world because of COVID. They are still struggling with COVID. China. And because of that, the production level in China has suffered. And it's the cost of importing from China no, are very, very expensive. I am just trying to summarize how the Russia-Ukraine war affecting Ghana, even though Yanko war no so that this propaganda, cheap propaganda, no, will be washed away.
Obi can say the AC can you call IMF finance minister can say we are enko China. The deputy finance minister also could parliament can say enko China. I quite remember finance minister at a press conference I can say Ghana we are a proud country. You between say and then be and yes call IMF. You call IMF crampon so no or quite befa so call between yam one crown ayadin SSA DDP e Ghana ha. Amanoni di so na feel ye huniti huninai enti na say yes kasede say the enya na nan so brane said ye na ebia amanfo esusu no nti say ye nkọ de ye den ye sankom impufiri mu a what happened within about bosomi bakona bosomi no ntemu a finance minister and deputy can say ye nkọ na fie ko prekope.
I will explain to you and I'll tell you say in parliament in some crack hunting last year your core situation e ko mu no because you see embra finance minister can say ye nkọ IMF now there was a plan. Na plan no endimu. The plan was that you be kwan you be faso a omanyimu ano you be raising resources here na dey pushi ejuma esese ye no and it was through several revenue streams but obekaya finance minister ready budget November 2021 ye baya bedu May na still revenue interventions esese ye de ba na yetumi di raise no ye nyenyaye and that within that period na ye try na ye kontokwa parliament ye delay ye go revenue streams ni hu fina e ma na ho de ba fam no na economy no say
of
course Obekai, you remember that as of January 2021 kwahwe be another dollar wo na hwe be a dollar kokodu ye by the end of the year na hwe be a January 2022 na dollar wo and as of June na akwakodru because you see the more we create all those noise and all those gloom around the economy, the more we struggle to build the kind of economy that we want. The more you delay to raise the necessary revenue to push your economy, the more the economy is getting into a mess. Until by the time ubeye KK now make us a fedie yati asi yenko yenim no. Now was saying normal bebre say yeko echi na yeko CC no. So we couldn't generate the necessary revenue through the revenue streams now and ka yebenya ayenu ntia ma yenko IMF no. And so you are left with very limited choices. As a government or as a leader, on sorry preoccupy. Now on go to the extreme option. You put in place several different strategies and interventions, hoping that they work. As you do that, you keep an eye on the extreme option. If it doesn't work, then you move there. IMF remains our extreme option. And at this point, in the absence of our ability as a nation to raise the necessary revenue in this country, we have no other choice. We are spending between 60 to 70% of our local domestic revenue paying salaries.
And within that 1 month, 2 months, near between assume ye levy once on an okay. Assume say yaji to mupa ka within 1 month, 2 months no it's a course there say corner. I can between sika because ye levy ba ya be ya kwan ye levy ba be way ye levy ba be way ye levy ba be way sankem fa na say ba ya anka ye betwa ye niam nyina ya nwene sa amanone mu abeba se ne ye kan yi.
One of our biggest challenge was our inability to go to the euro market for euro bond beginning of the year 2022. And the reason was because the more any delay na economy na say no na yen debt maka cho that say ye debt na ye kan wansam no eni na ebo sia wo tama ye exchange rate ni say ni nyina no na ye kan ekoso
na say exchange rate na san ka ban to mission no say
it is simply let me say the gloom and the issues around tama na ye debate ko up and down na s ade na say because the more you delay the more you mess it up, the more you spend time causing gloom around the economy, the more economy ni say enti tama na ye di echinje ye ko up and down na ye create gloom around it no na exchange rate na say enti ye no so te ye no na exchange rate na say now you have been blocked because the exchange rate now as has pushed your debt up to a certain level.
And yes, sir. Say be a body she be but no be say I dey me tompuma we Mr. Puma no boa enye daddy no mu dua no mu ebebu wa wo ton na betu convince me aka chem say wo na manufacturer wo convince me say daddy no mu ampa enti say wo say daddy no wo mu na make say dua no wo mu na de okwakoto no eje me dua de ne tu mu chen wa wo de daddy ye na wo ton na na say wo want to be your marketing you know.
Amaka say me chiro ye nyina te Ghana president reshuffle Ode list the crab I see president you win you pay more. Look at how long it has spent in parliament. You see how long control by the president over the parliament. See how long it has taken to pass just 6 ministers. Do you know the effect that the delay in passing these 6 ministers has on even the economy? Because Obi our transaction be assessed on the Ministry of Agriculture. That's a substantive minister, not doing any tanta.
So
control now. So the issues, see, when you go to the ministry, there are certain things that the deputy minister cannot do. It is there, yes. So I just say when NT say we spend no time in our parliament, a debate whether we will pass or will not pass. We send a bad signal. Some of our parliamentarians even say, most anyway, say euro bond for and say international investors, mo discount buy way buy you are destroying the economy.
It is obi owa bonten say obi obabeje bi say okwaje bi cha no wonche no e wo gide wo mu ampan say bi ska me de ma miracle obetua na me tinchen ka say bi sa de ma na e bi ontumi ntua ene na sefo asem ogide wo mu pa me de ba ma ho
se me ti je wo mu a
se me ti abonte so je
mo se me ti chen arrow se me won tin chen we are 136 so 137 we are efa of our minor decision making into won tin chen it is a meeting me person me ni o man di dwa me hwe dia woka won tin chen it we shouldn't create the impression as if say the words from the opposition don't matter. They are 50% of our decision making body omo tin chen. And that is why we continue say so man say ya eboye nyina ekoye nso ekoye man nya enti say man yi wanim enye niema ebema man na say to your political advantage because the idea we wanim
ba onu so hihye bi ba wo se hihye amede bai no eyade ese yi to adwene na yehu okwampa betuma fa so manako na mo no ekokwe say bia me so me wadwempo bi na samede ba enti na mo brofo bi a mo ka say mo ka ne sempo lobbying say betumi aye na matwe na me ne mo nya adwene kora betumi atwe
we dey lobby we dey lobby group omo party na adwuma ne so do be ba aban mu party na hye no chenchena say men ye say o lobby ni say
so would you say mutumi nya bibia ho
maybe some question I'm trying to let you understand the kind of position we have. We cannot run away from that. The opposition, we have a wicked opposition. We have a self-centered opposition. We have a selfish opposition. That is the truth. We have an opposition.
We say a selfish opposition, self-centered opposition. Once we hear more, now they are quiet with Jumebi. And to what you can say self-centered, they are wicked opposition. No, or Chile be to one catch almost say, me here will be to
the emotions in a humano. I didn't know you about me. And yet, there no credit maker. I don't know yet to the advantage. Ni partner say. Yeah, you see ya. Na Ghana for bubefu na Ghana for to abama yen. That's what they are doing. Oh, yen delay omo. Ye delay omo a. Omo nya IMF. Omo nya IMF Ghana for befu. Meanwhile, wouldn't him say the country, not the MPP government, the country needs the IMF bailout.
Who cause am?
Okay, into me cause into be say no. So I agree.
Okay,
into me cause here. Into be say no. No problem about that.
Me that say.
So I just say. But that doesn't change the fact say. That doesn't change the fact say what decisions and what actions in no is geared towards causing the problem. Who cause the problem ni wia? Who want to cause the problem ni wia? No what and
say now the blame is on a minority.
Oh, they are, of course they are.
Say woman na edi how nyina ba.
Me say they are partly to be blamed.
Partly to be blamed.
Of course.
Okay, me that say. And can you go back to them and tell them say yes, see nyina to adwene ma nyina to me ko. Say na kasa den ya de twen wo mo ana.
Na they make around here. You see, the point is not about the whole. It is about specific actions. The actions around the e-levy was a purely politically self-centered action. And we can't run away from that.
But I know one way you move correct by say
Momo
association of mobile money vendors by a studio by can
what is it?
And you
what is it?
Beba some perform man pikin to san from mama
omkwa man kasa ancho man pikin
me say omu di kan
omkwa no man kasa ancho man
me say omu di kan nwinwi yansa
but omu shi man pikin
me say
they didn't tell man pikin say
they omu di kan nwinwi yansa
man say omu
me da say
na second ya ile bi ba yi say won say momo ni bi elusi na adwuma
me da say
ana what say momo ni
na komo na ka betu di akwa pesa taxes aban dey bay no amanfo say ha adwene na say aban na kojo pon kroma say minority ne mua se na be ya won betumi pass sa levy bills na ababeye mra se na be betumi nya IMF ntina make say wo na so wo play no say wo ka kasa dem na timu ya ne dem no tumi ba na say wo mo na say o supana na so ofro no be san ba
man for to aba ma wo say koyo modwuma mo
me da miracle the Dennis miracle abuache mampadia so na wo local government wo no na odi hu akoten wo mampani aso ne ni di nkomo ene anopei enti ye beda na sepa nkomo na ka fe na ka ba be ye de na ebre no sunti ye de se na nsam na be di hu nkomo na doso enti wo de mo franchise be sama na ba bio na fe ya hwe se anye bia self-centered wicked opposition no yesa na etie ampane ampa na yes sorry so ye de asida ema ultimate remedial school me se oba no maths english and science na want to me antwa wo wase social ni mu a mensuro manenko ultimate remedial school no betwa ama oni age sanse ehuma sua kade meka lab science lab omo san wo library omo home econs lab omo visual art studio akwada ne practical aspects of the addition no obenya ne pepepepe asenfo so na omo boarding facilities intime nsuro kama swimming pool kra ho ba no betu adware mu afi wa kama nti channel so na from 0244696911 0244696911 and afi 020 789 na yedi yankomo twetwe ni nyina esi ewa ha anopai midinchie mu odupa ma menua me bra penny me hene my accountant me lawyer me bibia COP nketia frimpong ene antiabi banom police headquarters fo nyinara mamu nyina achi anopai adomdom ye ne a ye besen hye ye nuanom kranfo nyina ye mamu nyina ntiri nkwan da mu nyina ase ene se de ye ni obekoso ade sagana mante no ekona wiye na wotwe be afie be wura mu bosu be wura mu hye ase fi ochina na afie ahosiesie no so ebesan se da mu nyina ase adomdom ye ne a ye besen hye yakra mu nyina